it's Bunnyco. I just got back from DragonCon and thought I'd do a tutorial on how to do Harley Quinn whiteface. One of my major pet peeves about seeing Harley Quinn costumes is not that their outfits are unoriginal or bad or anything, but the quality of their whiteface isn't up to par with the rest of their costume, and thus just taking everything down a notch. So I thought I'd show my experience with all the different whitefaces that I've used and the ones that I feel work the best to help save some people some trouble and some money, and learning what products work well and what doesn't. There are a number of things you need for doing Harley Quinn's face outside of just the whiteface, but that's where we're going to start. I will go over all the different ones that I've used, starting with the Snazzaroo Classic Cake. I really don't like this. It's a water-based whiteface, which means you use water to activate the cake and put it on. It tends to leave brush strokes. Since it's water-based, it can crack and it can sweat off. This is the most common one that I've seen people use just by the poor quality of it on their face and seeing it crack and sweat off. It's also really difficult that once you get a layer on, to put on another layer to make it whiter or to fix any streaks, because as soon as it's dry and you try to put on that heavy next stroke, you actually end up picking up whitefaces as opposed to putting more down. It's very, very frustrating to use. I'd recommend something like this for maybe minor detailing work or doing face painting for children, since it is a water-based face cake. The other one that I got this past year. It's a Mehron Cream Blend Stick. It is very squishy, like those mousse foundations that you've seen commercials for, but it does tend to bunch up into the creases around my eyes very quickly and remove itself from the area. So while it is very light and comfortable on the skin and has good white coverage, it does not like to stay where you put it. So I don't recommend that one. The newest one that I used this year is Nye Clown White Cw. It is supposedly a cream-based makeup, but the one that I've used every other year up until now is the Mehron Clown White makeup, which is supposedly an oil-based makeup. And the ingredients in these two are very, very similar. The only thing that's different about them is the quantities of the ingredient, and the first ingredient listed on both of them is petroleum, which is an oil. So I'm not really sure how this one becomes a cream base and this one becomes an oil based when their first base is both oil, which is probably why I like both of them. Now, the differences between the two are not a whole lot. The Mehron one feels like you're wearing whiteface all day, the whole time you get it on, but what you're guaranteed is that it's not going to sweat off, it's not going to crack, and it's going to stay where you put it, and it's going to be white. With the Nye one, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit lighter, it's not as uncomfortable, it does pull up into the cracks around my eyes the way the Mehron one does, the cream stick does, but it gives you a nice base and it tends to stick better. My suggestion would be, if you're going to be walking around a con all day, wear the oil-based. It's not going to pull up, you're not going to have to worry about trying to fix it. If you're doing a photo shoot, use the Nye, because you can pause in between shoots if your makeup bunches up under your eye and just blend it out with a finger or a brush, and you'll be able to wear it for only a couple hours. I know I'm recommending to wear the uncomfortable one for the longer amount of time, but it will give you the best coverage. That said, I did wear the Nye one at DragonCon this year, and I felt it gave me very good coverage except for that small under eye area. One way that you can combat this is to not actually use that specific whiteface around the eye area and just use white eyeshadow and white makeup. That would also help with that. And then you could use the Nye one, which feels a little bit cleaner, and go from there. In addition to the basic white base, you're going to need a white powder. All of these will end up, except for the water one, will end up making your face feel kind of sticky. Also, if you have any hair or wig stuff, it will want to stick into it. And that's why you need the powder. This is an ultra white powder shaker. I bought this from Eddie's Trick Shop in Marietta, Georgia. You can buy any of these at a costuming store, not a party store, not a Halloween store, but a costuming store or online. I got white because I wear Harley Quinn a lot. I've known for my steampunk Harley Quinn. I've wore Amikami Harley Quinn version 2 this past Dragon Con, and I've done a variety of other Harley Quinn cosplays, and I plan on doing them in the future, so I bought white. It also comes in a translucent color as well. If you can't find it and you desperately need something, you can go with your classic goth white face powder from your goth mall store. That will work, but really take it when you're buying your white face for your cream, take the moment and just buy the setting powder as well. The thing that you're going to start with before you do anything else is a primer. If you don't, especially if you're using oils, you will break out, and it will get in your skin, and it won't come out, and it will leave you feeling terrible. The primer helps the makeup to sit on top of your skin and not go into your pores, and help it wash off easily, and also help it stay where it's supposed to stay, and help prevent it from seeping into the cracks of your face. I bought this one called Velvet Finish Primer Serum. It's by Meron. I got it at Eddie's Trick Shop. The gentleman who sold it to me said that he had a woman who worked for MAC say that the ingredients are the exact same as their primer. So if you have a regular makeup primer that you use all over your face to begin with, that's fine. I personally don't, so I bought this. First thing you're going to do is put a little bit of primer on your hands and rub it all over your face. Feels very silky, kind of oily. Just make sure you get it everywhere. If you wear a cowl with your Harley, put the cowl on first, then do the makeup so you don't smudge it all over your cowl. If you're doing your hair or a wig, you can do the makeup first. Now with the Ben Nye one, I found using a sponge first and then smoothing it with a brush worked best. The Ben Nye was a little too thick to use a brush straight out of the container. So I just use a standard sponge brush and just kind of get in there and start applying. You don't need to glob it on super thick. You want to spread it out until you get a nice thin layer all over. Take it out to your hairline. And just along the bottom edge of your jaw. You have a specific model of Harley in mind that you're doing, match it to that. Gonna want to make sure you get in your nostrils. If you have a brush, you can go in and help smooth out areas. Anywhere where you have a glob or you need somewhere smoothed. And that's all you really want, is that light, fine layer. That's all you need. That's all you need. You don't need to cake it on. And now you're going to add the powder. Because if you touch it, your face is going to be a little tacky. A little damp. And I just shake the powder out into the lid. Got a powder brush here. It's very dusty. Just dust it on. And just keep going all the way around till you're covered. As you can tell, this is adding a little bit of whiteness to all of this. Helping brighten it up. Now, if you're not sure if you're done, or if you got it all, what you do is you just take your fingers, touch your face, gently pat. It shouldn't feel tacky at all. It should just feel dry. And that's how you know you're done. Now, you might be wondering, what about my eyes? And that, we're getting to that. Got powder everywhere. I use Eyelid Primer. I use Urban Decay because nothing else works at keeping the eye makeup out of my eyelid creases. You can also take this down and under the eye as well. If you don't have a problem with your makeup going in your eyelid creases when you do it heavy, you don't need to prime, or you can use your face primer if it says it's okay to use around the eye area. Instead of using white face for this, I use a white eyeshadow. And this is also where you want to get nice. You don't just want to block out Harley's eyes. You want to wear makeup like you would normally, otherwise your eyes look really, really flat. So get a nice base on there. Spread it out. If you have any shimmer or glitter, now would be a good time to put that in there. And now you have your white. You're done with your white. And your eyes don't feel all gunked up or gross. Now for the eye makeup. You need heavy eye makeup because it won't show up otherwise. Depending on what you like is what you can do, or whatever Harley you're cosplaying as. You can have dark black eyelids. You can fill in the hole if you want it to look like it goes with the mask. Personally, I prefer the white eyes, and then do a heavy eyeliner around the outside and black mascara. Remember, more is better. You can use a liquid eyeliner if you prefer that. I personally just don't care for liquid eyeliner myself, and I prefer a stick. I have blonde eyelashes, so I definitely need mascara. If you have false eyelashes, even better. I personally have never been able to wear them successfully without them falling off, so I don't wear false eyelashes when I do Harley Quinn. But I do have very long, natural lashes. You do want this to be black. Using a brown or a blue wouldn't work very well. Well, that powder also helps with picking up any mistakes. Alright. So now that I have my eyes done, I'm going to do my lips. The number one thing that I see people do with lips is they go straight for that black lipstick. And while Harley's lips are black at the show, if you look at the photo reference and you watch the shows, they're not solid black. She always has a red shine. So if you can do it well, do a black matte lip with a red lip gloss, then that would be more accurate. Personally, I don't like the way how matte the black lips look, because you don't get any shadow anymore. You don't have that darker upper lip, brighter lower lip definition that gives you I'm a three-dimensional person effect. The black lips just kind of make them look very flat and very stuck on your face. So I use red, because it is not on canon for her to have red lips. Like I said, her lips shine red, so there is some red in that lipstick, whether it's an almost black red or it's a matte black with a red over top. I think red looks better, and it gives you more definition. You can also find it easier. If you want it to be black, I've seen people You can smudge some black lipstick in with it to help darken it up, or just go with a really dark cherry red as well. Personally, I like the bright red, and since I do Steampunk Harley Quinn, which is my own variation of her, I don't worry about it not being so dark. Also, in the other versions I did, like Amikami Harley Quinn version 2, her lipstick was just in the center, and it was red with a black lip liner. So depending on the variation that you're doing will determine what Harley to do, but do keep in mind that her lips are not solid black. They do have a red sheen to them, so you should incorporate red into the lips somehow if you can. The lipstick that I've been using recently is a Tarte brand, Glamazon Fierce, as it is a 12-hour lipstick, but it is matte, and I personally don't like lip gloss, not because of the stuff that's in it necessarily, but because I don't like my lips feeling constantly sticky. I also don't like the look of glossy lips myself. So I use a matte because that's my personal preference. But here you are with a great Harley white face, and you can go ahead and put your mask on or your wig on now, or do your hair up, and you're good. I am really comfortable in this. It's not gross feeling or anything, and since I primed my face, I know that it will come off well. With all of the oil-based ones, you will need a makeup remover to remove the makeup. Soap and water will work, but you will be at it for a while. Just using water to wash it off won't work unless you're using the water-based white face. If you do get itchy while wearing it, which does happen, as we are human beings and a hair will brush against your face, be mindful of it and don't scratch, pat. That will help scratch your itch without messing up your makeup. So I hope this tutorial helped people with the products that they want to use, and tips and tricks to make sure that your eyes show, and what you can use for your lips, and how to make it look great without caking it on or being worried that you don't have enough or have too much on. So I hope this Harley Quinn tutorial helps some Harleys out there. I hope to see much better white face on people as Harley becomes even more and more popular with people. It is really fantastic to see the wonderful things that people come up with for her. It always inspires me to just do more with her, and I hope that I inspire others to do more with her as well. I hope this helps some people.